there's a way.
Quite literally, Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
You're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king.
For today's episode, I am sitting down with Will Z. Tidwell. We have an uncommon conversation regarding pursuing your dreams, how to protect those, and not give people direct access to what you visualize. If you've been scrolling on IG or TikTok as of late, there's a good chance you've seen his video that went viral from his show Z Speaks podcast. You're about to learn how to bulletproof yourself with setting and maintaining professional boundaries in a world saturated with inauthentic impactors or influencers saying things like, you need to serve. Serve what exactly? The most pervasive issue that I see with making a statement in that type of way is they're only serving on the people that are actually going to benefit them short-term or long-term. This is a must listen all the way to the end. So grab a piece of paper and pen and take some notes. Big time Z in the house. What? Arkansas? Arkansas in the house.
Hey, what's up? What up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, Chris?
Man, I'm blessed that I have an opportunity to be able to speak with you, and congratulations. I know that we kind of, on all the success you've had, and you're multifaceted. That's what I really dig about you, that we're so aligned.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane of what you were building for your communities, what I'm building for my communities, and obviously in a different type of industry, but it all merges into one. That's why my philosophy, that one heartbeat, one mission, one outcome, and overall, that'll help you adopt the proper principles to build a life and manifest anything you ever wanted. So thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm really stoked for this.
Man, appreciate you for having me, Chris, man. It's an honor, bro. It's crazy. I was just thinking about it, man, how powerful social media can be, bro. And it can bring, like-minded people together like us, man. So I'm just happy to be here, bro.
Right. Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that. Yes. And it's very powerful. Of course, just like you have a team that works and obviously posts your stuff and content. And I think it was, my team pulls a lot of stuff to the side that aligns with my message.
Right.
And I think it was a video that went pretty much viral.
Yeah.
The video. And we're talking about you got to protect your dreams. I think it was that one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're multifaceted. You're obviously big in poetry and writing and, speaking, and you're just a really influential guy. The impact that you bring to your communities and people, I think it's not about what you say. It's about how you make people feel.
Absolutely.
Has anyone kind of went into that with you before?
Far as people that listen to my messages saying that to me. Man, I think that's what separates me, bro, from a lot of other speakers and performers is that, I'm not just trying to say something that's gonna, sound good or to be that cliche motivational guy, but I'm speaking so much from a personal experience a lot of the times, even with that message you just mentioned that connected us, man, about, other people not believing in your dreams and all that type of stuff. That was from a very personal place. And I think because of that, people can feel that. They can, you can tell when something is authentic and genuine.
100%.
And I think people can feel that, bro. And I think that's what's helped me, kind of take off the direction we're going now, man, because of that. So I just try to be myself, and try to be authentic through it all, bro. And because of that, it's been doing really well. You know what I mean?
When you're tapped into the true authentic self, I speak very passionately about this. When you start shedding all these layers and get to the true essence of who you are and who you're supposed to become,
right? And
just paying very close attention to the thoughts that are entering your brain. You can't control these thoughts. You can direct them into a positive outlet.
Absolutely.
And then start reinvestigating and going into cultivation of silence, cultivation of self-discovery, and investigating, why do I feel this? Why am I thinking of this? And you have to start clearing. I call it clearing the mechanism. Remember that? What was the name of that movie? I can't remember. It was the Kevin Costner. It was the love of the game. When he was a pitcher, it's all. Maybe I'm showing my age.
no judgment.
Anyways,
I don't think I heard that.
But he's on the mound and he's a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. Right. And he's in New York, and then he's going through his whole life, and right before this game time, and he turned it on. He's clear the mechanism, and he literally bleeds out everything around him, and he zones in. He doesn't hear anything. Yeah. So that's what I kind of I've referenced that. That's the first thing I do in the morning. Is when I wake up, I really thoroughly, actually, it's a better word to use.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show for the first 10 to 12 to 15 minutes of my day. I roll out of bed, put my feet on the ground, and I kind of just put my hands up. I just want to really just be calm and be at peace and just watch the show, because here's the thing about the human brain. Your frontal lobe, the conscious and unconscious part, your unconscious, you're waking up.
Yeah.
That's where you can tap into your subconscious and understand how much baggage is there or how much stuff that you need to kind of clear out.
Absolutely.
And have you ever done something? I know you do stuff that's very similar to that, but have you ever kind of paid very close attention to your subconscious and actually what's happening?
I have to,
Okay.
bro, because, running, like you said, running our companies at a high level. I mean, I'm not on your level yet, but trying to get to that point, right? And trying to run it at a high level, man, and being a creative and all that great stuff. You literally don't have the capacity or the room to hold on to that extra baggage and hold on to that stuff that is irrelevant. You know what I mean? And so what my best thing I try to do is, like you said, bro, I deal with what I need to deal with. But at the moment when I'm locked in, I try to focus in on that, because if I don't, bro, then it starts to affect my creativity. It starts to affect my content. It starts to affect my leadership. It starts to affect, me just being my best self. And if I don't show up for my team and for my company and for the people that are relying on me, I'm letting so many people down, and I'm only in my team and my company's only as strong as I am. You know what I mean? So you literally cannot have that baggage in place, because then you start to block so many blessings and so many other things that could be coming your way. You know what I mean? So every day, bro, for me, it's more of a, like you said, it's more of a get out of bed. It's a jazz. It's a something motivational. It's a stretch, and that just kind of lets me, let go of everything from yesterday. Feel what I need to feel, whether that's a depression or I'm sad about something. I feel what I need to feel, like get it out of my way. And it doesn't mean that I'm over it per se, but I know I have something bigger to attack for the day.
100%. Yeah. And you being tapped into that. I mean, I believe that, when you're holding yourself accountable. Yeah. Because you have a huge following and have a huge message, and you have businesses and people are counting on you.
Absolutely.
But I take it a step further. My competitive advantage comes from my older sister that passed away. That I refuse to look her in the face when I pass over after she gave me a gift. Yeah. And be disappointed with my life.
Absolutely.
I mean, so let's touch on that just when we can.
Okay.
I mean, have you put a lot of thought into, like, what is your unique competitive advantage?
My unique competitive advantage. What separates me from everybody else? And I'll be honest with you, bro. I didn't really start to develop this until recent. I'll be very honest with you. I had a really deep conversation with a mentor of mine. Because for a long time, Chris, and I don't know if you can relate to this or not, but I know a lot of people can. It's when you come from struggle and poverty, right? And the crazy part is I grew up with two parents in a household, right? So for a long time, I didn't really have a struggle or anything like that. But then I transitioned when I turned 17 to being homeless for a while, right? So I went from having everything to having nothing,
right?
And so when I went through that storm in my life and I was at the bottom of the bottoms, when you do get a little taste of money after going through stuff like that, that starts to become the thing that controls your life. You see what I'm saying? So for a long time, bro, it was me, chasing the dollar. It was me trying to, get every sale I could, doing things I know I had no business doing, because I was just so afraid to go back to that type of life that I had, previously just tried to get away from.
Survival.
Exactly. Yeah. But my mentor, man, she pulled me aside one day. Because again, I was so focused on trying to get a dollar, because she was paying me to do a job basically. And she said, you know what? She said, Will, I'm going to terminate this contract. Big contract, bro. Big contract that really could have set me up. She said, I'm going to terminate this contract, not because you don't do great work, but because you were so worried about the money.
Oh, wow.
That you let it affect the quality of work that I know that you can do. And she said, so the next time you get this type of opportunity with somebody else, show the people on the front end how great you are at what you do, and they'll gladly pay you whatever you want. They'll gladly give you whatever it is that you need. So I think the thing that separates me from everybody else is that after I learned that lesson, bro, I start focusing more on how can I serve? How can I give back? How can I help you be better or help my community be better? And when I start to really adopt that mindset of community first, serve first, sell later, that is what started to push me apart from everybody else. And I started to come into my own. And if you think about it, bro, I try to do that, that motto and that mindset through everything I do. So
it shows.
So when I speak or I post something about me speaking, I'm not asking you to book me for an engagement. I'm just going to give you the value and help you whatever way I can, and you're going to want me to come speak anyway. Right?
You're planting seeds. You're planting seeds. That's all you're doing. You're planting seeds, and the people that are minds and are impressionable to absorb that content or actually understand the concept of what the message is about.
Absolutely. Yep.
Then you never know what seed will actually turn into a tree.
Yep.
You never know. But your job's to plant seeds and to let other sources water that, to give it the right information and right fertilization or whatever it might be to turn into what. But it's their freaking choice.
But do you know why most people walk away from that seed that they plant before they have a chance to see it come into fruition? Because they don't have the patience. Yeah,
they don't have the patience, and they don't also subconsciously don't believe that they actually deserve it.
That's the biggest thing, bro. And so for me, when I started to learn that it's not about trying to make the most money or make the most dollars, not about like you said, trying to survive. It's really about how can I help other people's life be better? Because when you do that, your value speaks for itself. And so I think the thing that separates me the most is that, when you connect yourself to me or you do any type of business with me or anything like along those lines, that I'm going to give you my best foot forward. And at the end of the day, I'm going to figure out how we can make all of our communities better, whoever I'm connected to. And it's helped me come this far, bro. And it's only going to help me go further, with some of the things we have coming up. So yeah, man, that's what separates me, man. I feel like
I love that. And the reason why I asked you that question, I didn't really know where I was going to go, but I wrote down a couple of bullet points that I wanted to make sure that I brought up with you because we're so freaking aligned. Okay. And this isn't, I have a great community and I have a great staff and I have great companies and, of course, but that's all repetition and it's all through, me putting in that extra effort and surrounding myself with uncommon thinkers. That's important to me.
What does that mean? What does that mean when you say that?
What uncommon thinkers is that I think differently because I have a different understanding and overview of what's actually happening. Absolutely. Most people can only be reactive. Yeah. I'm actually proactive. And most people say, damn, Chris, you're patient. I'm not patient. I just know when to move and I know when to stop and hold up.
Absolutely.
So if I'm going to, because, you hear all these Charlie Hustle guys are like, oh, you got to hustle, you got to hustle. But if you don't know where you're going, bro, then you got to have the right plan. So I call them the 4 A's. You have to first be aware of what's happening. Then you have to, really just accept where you currently are for what it is and be at peace with your past because your past is not you. That's not you. That's not at all. It's nothing matters. Then you move over and then you stop the bleeding and then move over to take action and then hold yourself accountable. It's very simple method, but you have to have uncommon thinking and think differently because when you're exposed to a different way of thinking, you'll raise other people's vibrations and elevating others to elevate yourself. Then it goes to uncommon plans. Yes. Then it goes to uncommon partnerships that you'll have. Yes. Then, even your relationships, you're going to have the best person in your life at a certain level, but you don't blaze. Your job is to blaze through these damn levels, not to be hold on. Then you have uncommon discipline. So I learned that from Tim Story. Do you know who that is?
I've never heard of him, man.
Tim Story, he's Kanye West mentor. This is the people that he's attached to. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. And he actually interviewed, this is a beautiful man. And he actually interviewed not Kobe Bryant. I'm sorry. Brad Pitt's mother.
Okay.
Kanye West's mother before she passed.
Yeah.
And some of these major, Robert Downey Jr.'s mother. And they always mentioned and said, and I guarantee your mom will probably say this.
Yeah.
Like, this one's different. This kid's different.
Yeah.
This kid's different. We're all born to be great.
Yeah.
But your parents know.
They know.
If they know. But you have to be able to shed those layers. And that's why I'm saying the uncommon thinkers. And that's why I asked the question about, what's your competitive advantage? Because most people don't discover really what that is. I didn't discover what it was until I was 37 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean because my flu game was better than most.
Right.
So, but I was forced by the universe, and what you don't pay attention to and what you ignore, the universe will force you at some point to deal with this shit.
Absolutely.
What are some pivotal moments that the universe forced you to deal with something that you weren't addressing?
Bro.
Oh, I was going to come in hot.
Oh, man. Good question. Oh, man. What is something that made me face? How much of a hypocrite I was being for a long time.
Oh, that's powerful. Say that again.
How much of a hypocrite I was being. Because what a lot of people don't know is I've been doing this in this space for 8 years. You see what I'm saying? But it's just now taking off, which speaks to two things. It speaks to how you have to be consistent. It speaks to that, absolutely. But I also believe that, and I don't know how religious you are, and I'm not trying to
very much
anything like that. But I feel like also God had to wait to shine His light on me the way He is now. Why? Because it's kind of like this. One of my mentors told me the marketing is great to do and have in your business, but make sure the product and the service is put together, because if you're great at marketing, but the product or service is shitty, all you're going to do is shine light on how shitty the product is.
Right. You're going to expose yourself. You're going to expose yourself. I was actually watching Elon Musk, not to cut you off, just to interject just for a second. I was listening to Elon Musk, and he was talking about the people that have MBAs and shit, right? And he was like, these people are ruining and stuff, and it needs to see the dollar. They need to see return on investment. But if you take all your time and energy and developing the best product service you can for what you're doing, and you focus on that only, then it doesn't really matter. Everything else you can outsource all the other rest of the shit.
Absolutely.
Right. And I love that.
Me and you, we're the product. We're the brand, right? As a person. And so for a long time, you know, like I said, I've been creating, I've been doing this stuff, and I wanted to blow up and do these things, but I would go and preach about, you know, I would go over here and talk about self-love or doing this or doing that, but then on the back end in my private life, I'm doing the complete opposite. Right. I'm going to talk to kids at their school about doing this and doing that and not being lazy and not doing this, but then I'm going home doing the complete opposite.
Chilling.
You see what I'm saying? Bullshitting. And so I think the biggest thing that I had to face is how hypocritical I was being. I talk about forgiving and you know, letting go of grudges and all of these different things for a long time, but then I have a damaged relationship with my father.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? For a long time. So it's like so for me, it was that I was talking a good game. I was saying the things that sounded good. I still could speak just as well back then. I mean, I'm better now, but I can speak well even back then. So the messages were resonating with those people, but I wasn't taking it to the next level. Why? Because I wasn't being real with myself. You can lie to everybody else all you want to, bro. But at the end of the day, you know you lying. You know you're not living in your true self. You see what I'm saying? And for me, I just didn't want to face that. I thought, well, I can talk about this and still, you know, not talk to my pops and have a grudge against him. But then I kept wondering how I was elevating.
Right. You gotta step into, like, when I show up, like, I'm Dr. Brene Brown, she's a phenomenal individual. And she talks a lot about this, that you need to be able to show up and that you have to be able to surrender. And that's the first step. And surrendering on where you go. Like, personally for myself, the big, huge pivotal moment for me is that there was a lot of times I'm so intuitive, and I learned this from my sister, is that I would put myself so much into other person's situation, and I would be able to do it in my business life, in my personal life. I wasn't able to do it. Yeah. I can still get by on a tactical side, but I didn't know who I was.
Absolutely.
And I lost sight of, I was bought into the identity of being successful. It's the worst thing that ever happened. Success is just a warm place to hide, bro.
Sheesh.
It's a warm place to hide. You can give off the illusion to everybody, even close to your family, that I'm successful and I'm dealing with it, but my flu game's good and I got you. But I wasn't fully living a fulfilled life, and nothing brought me fucking joy, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing brought me joy because I didn't love myself.
And that's how the same way I was, bro. And that's why I feel like I was such a hypocrite, because it's like, I'm talking to the game. I'm talking about being this type of person and doing these things, but I'm out here messing with all these women, and I'm out here, you know, I'm out here like I said, I'm out here holding grudges against people, but I'm talking about this. I was so unhappy with myself, right? And we try to find these escapes to just take the pain away or make us forget about this stuff. But all it does is like, it may subside for a little while, but all it's going to do is come back and hit you 10 times harder, you know? Until, like you asked me earlier, we have to face that. And so that's something I had to start being honest and transparent about, and being real with myself, and stop lying to myself, man. And ever since I started to walk in that, things have just, you know, turned around dramatically, bro. But I tell you why a lot of people don't want to face that truth, because it's so lonely. It's so humbling.
Oh man, now you're hitting a landmine, bro. Like, it is a lonely place.
It's lonely, bro, because you realize how much you have to focus. You realize how much time you don't have to bullshit. You realize, like, okay, I'm gonna have to sacrifice these things now in order to have what I really truly claim that I want. You see what I'm saying? But think about how many people every day, Chris, I'm sure you run across them in your DMs and everything else. They say, Chris, can you help me build this? Can you help me do this? Can you consult me on this? And as soon as you give them the game and the blueprint of what they're going to have to do, they fade away.
Yeah, they're looking for a minimum gain.
Absolutely.
And they want it right now. So, and my DMs I get flooded with stupid shit.
Me too.
So, and it's, and you know, and it's got to the point to where I still help and I still try to, you know, point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I just want to get on the phone with you for 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, you're not going to, what are we going to talk about? What value can you bring to my life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, watch a podcast, there's consuming content. You can join the email subscriber thing and you can watch all the old stuff I've done in the past, like previous 10 years and learn something. Here's the thing. And that's what a lot of people do. They say, I want to serve, but you're only trying to serve the people who will buy your product.
Exactly. Or you want to serve with hopes of an instant gratification on the other side of that serving.
There it is.
And again, you don't understand. Like I said, I've been doing this shit 8 years. You've been doing this for a decade, if not longer. Mm-hmm. And I'm just now starting to see the fruits of that labor, bro. And so, and a lot of, even with me, when people used to hit me up and say, hey, I want to come do your initiatives and your programs with you, et cetera, et cetera. For them, it was a photo op. For them, it was them thinking that something was going to just blow up on the other side of that. I'm like, this is what I do every day. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I think the biggest thing I ever had to do was be honest with myself and stop lying to myself and you know, face those hard truths that a lot of us try to run from, you know. And
what was the I guess you say the situation that put you in that world that made you want to do it? Because I truly believe it needs to be something bigger than you that forces you to do it. Absolutely.
Me having a daughter.
Yeah, me too. That was my move.
Me having a daughter, man. I think me having a little girl, and I think God has a very big sense of humor.
Yeah,
I wanted a boy, but He gave me a little girl, man. And girls do something different than men, you know, as fathers, right? And I'm sure you can attest to. Like, she just slowed me down in so many ways, and she started to really, you know, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, as soon as she was born, I just changed, right? But I started to notice the signs of me slowing down, doing certain things that I was doing. Right, from how I was treating women or how I was moving and how much I did this and did those other things. I think that was a big pivotal point in my life. And then the other thing was I had a conversation with a woman one time. I don't know why I keep thinking about conversations I had. A girl my age. This is what she told me. She said, Z, I love you as a businessman. I love you as a speaker. I love you as an influencer, but I hate you as a man.
Whoa.
Shit. And you know, you try to act like that didn't bother you, and I try to.
No, you feel it. You felt that. I would feel that. Yeah,
that hurt. When I got home, all you can do is think about that, and I had to go back to her a little while later and ask her, you know, what made her say that? Why did she say that? And it was literally what we just talked about. Is because Z, you're such a great person and you have such a great potential, but you're not willing to live up to that. You're not doing the things that you're telling everybody else to do. How can you expect anybody to follow you, believe in you, support you if all they had to do was spend 5 minutes with you, the real you, and they'll see you're not even that person.
Right. I see this a lot, man. Okay. Yeah. And it just brings up a good point. And I've been around, I'm a very blessed individual, but I've been around some highly successful individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I've been around that are highly successful, the ones that actually are the real deal. They're uncommon thinkers, and they don't do it for any other reason other than just being them themselves.
Absolutely.
So I've been to the circus, and I've seen all the damn strings, man, and I know all the smoke and mirrors and all the games they play.
Yeah.
So, and for those types of individuals, and yeah, of course, they've reached out and want to come on the show. I will refuse to have them on the show because it doesn't align with my message. And no offense. I don't need this name coming on my show to help me. You need me more than I need you.
Sheesh.
And that's a hard thing because what I've done is I've refused to. I'm playing an infinite game is basically what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not playing a finite game. If I was playing a finite game and looking for that gratification and for someone else, everyone's heard your story, man. I want to talk to people that have substance.
Absolutely.
And they're a mile wide.
Absolutely.
And mile deep.
Absolutely.
Of having an ambassadorship, because if people eat their own dog food and they're really living that life, the people that at the darkest times in their life, the ones that discover their character and build upon their character.
Yeah.
And as long as you put in the work when no one's watching and no one gives a shit, you don't want to get exposed when those bright lights hit you.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it. These guys make millions of dollars a month, and they're forcing themselves because they don't want to lose the identity of being successful in the marketplace. They're back end sellers. They're over, you know what I mean, persuading people, and they have zero freaking they have an awful turnover ratio within their marketing on their inside of their divisions. Everyone fucking hates their guts, you know. They're, I mean, but you have to sit back and go, all right, man. Well, what can I control? What can I do? The 48 Laws of Power is my favorite book by Robert. Everything Robert Greene is written on a piece of paper.
You fucking with
it. That dude is something else.
Yeah.
Like I can recite all the 48 Laws of Power like in order, but the number 39 is where I'm at in my life right now. Okay, I'm gonna give you some shit. You ready? Yeah. Number 39 is I'm stirring up the waters to catch the fish.
Yeah.
But I'm stirring up the waters. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to flip the industry on its head, and I'm going to expose the ones that aren't ready.
Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna elevate others to bring me to the right stuff. You elevate others, you elevate yourself eventually.
Absolutely.
So like, okay, let's go back in time a little bit, right?
Okay.
Let's go back into the homeless Z.
Okay.
And like, so some of the things that obviously you've accomplished, and you're very spiritual. I'm very spiritual as well.
Yeah.
And I believe that we're all born into this world to solve a problem. What the world actually needs is us to discover what that is.
Absolutely.
When you're in that type of world and you're in survival, and what was the switch like around that, and you started stepping into your true self?
You know what, man? I think sometimes we go through these situations in our life and we just don't understand why we're going through the things we're dealing with, right? So for you, and I can't speak for you, but I can only imagine when you first lost your sister, you didn't understand.
Nope.
Right? You didn't understand why that happened. You were just like, you know what I mean? You were lost, right? And for me, when I come from a background of never having to really struggle, like I said, to going to my parents separating, my mom being in jail, to me being homeless, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Why? How me out of all people, right? But I'll tell you what happens when you have nothing else, when you have no choice but to go to God.
There it is.
When you at your lowest point and you remember who's the highest, when you have no choice. I started just tapping into one of my real gifts, which was writing. And I think that was the real turning point, because you got to think about it, man. You know, like I said, we all have an escape that helps us feel better. And for me, it was sports. And so now that I'm homeless, I ain't trying to play no ball.
I ain't got time for that. I'm
trying to figure out, I'm finna eat and some more shit, right? But I still was dealing with so many emotions and going through so many things and feeling so many different things. I had to figure out how to just escape from those thoughts, how to get them out of my head. And so again, I remember, I go back to me being in high school, being in the poetry club, actually. Right. I was in the poetry club, but I never paid it much attention. I just kind of had something to do, you know, during lunch when I wanted to go in there. I would just kind of listen in and maybe perform something slight or whatever. But it was never nothing I took seriously until I had nothing left. Yeah. And so, man, I just started talking about the things I was going through, the things I was dealing with, my feelings I was feeling at the time of not having anything to eat, having to steal to eat, wondering why my mom was going through the things she was going through and she didn't deserve it, and all these things, bro. And I start sharing that message on my platform. I still had a phone. All right. So I just started recording myself and sharing it with people and sharing it with my homeboys, and that didn't even know that I was dealing with what I was dealing with. They don't even know.
Sounds like to me, you're holding yourself accountable.
Absolutely, bro. And what I start to understand when I start speaking these messages is that not only was it helping me, my mental health in a way, but I was speaking for so many other people. Yeah. Therefore, why my company is Speak Up.
You're giving them a voice when they didn't have the courage or maybe the intellect to be able to speak
on those things.
Yeah, speak on it and actually be comfortable and confident to do so. Yeah, and that's your source, though. Okay, absolutely. And that's why I wanted to ask you this question. Now I'm dialed into this. That's your true gift, and that's your source. Is that you're able to understand it and put it into words, and that's the creative side of you in writing and actually being able to articulate the message. Most people, they're in adolescence, we don't understand. Like you mentioned, my sister, I didn't understand this, but that was such a huge connection for me. When I lost that, I suppressed those emotions. I built over top of it because I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I was avoiding.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't want to feel the pain. Absolutely. In order for you to be able to the only way you are able to serve or able to get to the true essence of you got to feel it and push through.
Yeah, but you got to understand too, though. I still was suppressing my feelings in a way as well. Because the reason my mother went to jail was because of my father. Therefore, the reason I resented him for so long.
Oh man,
you see what I'm saying? So I didn't talk to him. Yeah, I was writing about certain things and getting that out that way, but I still wasn't talking to him. I'm talking about letting go of this and not holding on to this, but I'm still not, you know what I'm saying? So I was still suppressing my feelings as well, just in a different way, you know? And so when I started to see how many people I was touching though, helping, I think that's kind of when I started to discover truly who I was in a way, bro. But the thing is, for a lot, and I know a lot of people feel this way, this is something I love to do, but I didn't know how the hell to monetize this. How do I make a living off? How do I make my situation better from loving to write, loving to speak, loving to talk? How do I make this better? You know, I was so stuck.
So just to kind of like, I wouldn't say recap, but it sounds like to me, and when I feel from you, that you were born into an environment around some strong women.
Absolutely. All sisters mostly, bro. I'm the only boy.
All right. So having that type of influence is by far probably the reason why I'm in this seat.
Yeah.
And I'm in my spot. Like my grandmother was a very, very, very strong woman.
Yeah.
My mother is the strongest woman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She's beat cancer, 8 back surgeries, lost a daughter. She's got a morphine pump inside of her freaking body, bro. You know what I mean? And it been adopted twice. There's, you know what I mean? There's the world has served her the shittiest hand,
and she's still fighting.
It was on purpose.
Yeah,
it was on purpose.
Yeah,
everything in life is on purpose.
Yeah,
and so when you talked about your sisters and the strong influence in your life.
Yeah.
Is that why maybe potentially the people that you had in life? And I think that's probably why you have a daughter.
I feel like between, I mean, my sisters, but my mom played the biggest role. My mom is the reason I'm the guy I am. Because she was always that type of person where, like, you know, it's always that one person. Well, not everybody has, but I was blessed to have that person. She always just believed in me, bro. She was like, baby, like even something as simple as me saying, Mom, you like this shirt? And I remember as a kid, I asked her something like that. She'd be like, do you like it? And I'd be like, yeah. She's like, it's all that matters. Or she'll say, baby, I don't care if you dig ditches. I support you. Like, oh man, she was that type of backbone for me, right? And so, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like between that relationship and that type of connection with her, and then again, just all the mistakes I made with the women in my life from a relationship standpoint. Man, my daughter just humbled me all the way down and made me realize just how powerful women are truly, bro. You know what I mean? And it made me reflect on just how special the relationship I have with my mother and those type of women in my life really are to me. You know, it toned me all the way down, bro. All the way.
I asked you that question. I see a lot of similarities with your story and mine.
Yeah.
And of course, just different experiences.
Yeah.
But I believe that at some point in life, and I don't know, maybe I need to investigate a little bit more on this and put some more research into it. The ones that have really strong women influences when they grow up in life have a really hard time being able to hold down a relationship because they never match up in your own eyes that they're worthy enough.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. I just came to that. I don't know where the hell that came from.
That's real though.
That's real talk.
You're always comparing it to those
subconsciously. It's human nature. It's human nature.
Yep. You don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah, subconsciously, maybe potentially subconsciously, I wasn't completely all the way surrendering and showing up 100% because one, I didn't want to lose that connection because obviously sister and then strong people. Well, you learn a lot from watching someone you had the biggest connection with breathe through tubes and fight to just get to the next moment.
Yep. And I think on the other side of that too, Chris, is not only you're looking for a woman that adds up to that original relationship, but also sometimes you struggle in your, intimate relationship because maybe that woman that you're intimate with reminds you too much of that other woman.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay.
You know what I mean?
And I think I had every version of that. And I was single for years and years and years and years. I was just hustling, right. And building. And then, of course I had a woman come into my life and knock me on my ass. I didn't know where she came from. And I love her to death. She's my ex. I love her to death. And I really want her to be able to heal and work on. There's a lot of things I've done wrong. There's a lot of things she's done wrong, but it's situational, and I'm always going to love her because she's the mother of my child. Absolutely. And a happy her is a happy daughter. Absolutely. So, and that's the biggest thing for me. But when I look back and looking at some of the situations that I was subconsciously creating, I was self-sabotaging certain relationships because I felt like I wasn't worthy enough to have that relationship.
Absolutely.
So it keeps going down to your deep in your subconscious. But I never really investigated and put a lot of research into the stronger women in my life that molded me. Yeah. And why I have such high standards. And when I compromise those standards, and then, because no one wants to be alone.
Nobody does.
Let's be real, right? Well, the one thing about 2020 did, the one thing 2020 did for me is made me realize that I can live without sports. Made me realize that I can live by myself and just be at home, and then turn myself into a different. I'm a different breed. Like the ones in 2021, we're now in 2021, and all the way probably mid-year. I'm telling you, the ones that put in the hustle and the work on themselves, not other things, in 2021, you're going to see the reflection, the byproduct of 2022, all the year, 10 years later.
Absolutely.
This pandemic and what was happening in this world is giving everybody an opportunity where wealth changes hands.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've done with this system. So it's like, let me put it a little bit more into this also with and not to get too personal and just tell me to shut up because I hate when people do this to me and I'm not comfortable, but I feel like I've created, we're aligned, so we can take it. So did you ever kind of like deal with that issue with your father? That
I did.
Like, how did you deal with that?
I started realizing how much it was holding me back.
Okay.
I'm big on that quote of what I said earlier, that baggage is blocking your blessings. You see what I'm saying? Because think about how much energy you have to exert to hold on to these things and to be angry at this person and all of these things you have to. It's almost like sometimes you have to remember you're mad. You ain't even really fucked up. You want to be over it. You're really done with it. But when you see that person or talk to that person, I ain't fucking with him. Yeah, like that's fucking with your happiness. That's taking away from my creativity. It's taking away from me doing what I need to do, man. So for me, it really just came down to me having to understand that maybe he will never change.
Mm-hmm. And that's not your job. And that's not your job to change.
It's not my job to do. I have to accept him for who he is. I have to love him from a distance and check in with him when I'm in need.
Say that again. I say that. I need to put that shit on a t-shirt. I love people from a distance.
Long handle spoon. Yeah. I'm gonna let you know I love you when I talk to you. I'm gonna call you every week. I'm gonna check in. If you need me, I'm gonna be there. But the thing when we used to bump heads the most, especially not only when that situation with my mother and stuff, but like just when we were under the same roof as a child, when I got older, that's when we really bumped heads the most. I think just us being similar in ways and all of those things, bro. So I just had to understand that if I truly want to be happy, if I truly want to be successful, I truly want to have the business I claim I want to have one day, I'm gonna have to let that go. I gotta let that be because it was keeping me because literally everything I wanted was right there. The blessings are right here, but I can't.
You can't touch it. You can't touch it.
You see what I'm saying? I'm holding on to this, and I can't catch on to what's coming. And so I had to let that go. And that was really how I dealt with it. But the thing is, though, when we sit here and say let it go, people think you wake up one day and you just flip a switch and you let it go. That's a process.
Yeah, everyday process. That's never going to stop for you either. It's never going to stop for you to the day that you pass over. God willing, it's not going to be until whenever you're ready, right? But because you have such a beautiful soul and a beautiful message to get out there. Absolutely. But when it's going to be an everyday. Like people say, "Oh, how did you heal?" I didn't heal. It's a healing process that happens every freaking day. I don't stop.
It never stops.
Right.
You get a little bit better every day, right?
Of course.
You feel a little bit better every day. Some days are better than others. Some days it hits you super hard. But the thing I hate the most is when
those are my best days. Those are my best days. That's where the most growth. That's where the most growth opportunity is.
That's when the creativity hits me the hardest. And what a lot of people don't get is they say, how do you come up with this content and stuff you talk about?
Easy.
It's my own personal experiences. Right. I'm not saying anything to you that I haven't dealt with, felt, went through, going to go through. I'm not everything I'm talking about. I know from personal experience. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel so comfortable talking about the things I'm talking about, because I've had the parents that didn't believe in the dream. I've had the friends that made fun of me and didn't see what I saw. I had the outgrow people I loved and everything else I talk about. So yeah, man, I think people don't understand like that is literally a process, but it's not a process that's 6 months long or 3 months long. Like this is something you're going to have to deal with every day. But I think a lot of people are afraid to first admit it and then feel it because 100%. It can be so painful. You know,
well, that's the pain that needs to recycle into your strength. You know what I mean? So, and that's surrendering that pain and surrendering it out. Like right now, this given moment, and there's nothing else going on in my world other than this conversation.
Absolutely.
Nothing. I don't give a shit. I have no needs or wants or desires. I'm just holding space with you.
Absolutely.
But what I've done is, what I used to do is I try to over deliver and whatnot, not embracing the moment.
Yeah.
Like I would try to, over what I was doing and then just try to learn what is my next question or what is it? I just let it come to me. I don't know what the hell I'm going to ask people. This just goes into the conversation, but I'm present into that moment to allow me to experience the bliss because I know I deserve it.
Absolutely.
So it was all about protecting your source, just like you mentioned in what brought us together, protecting your dreams.
Yeah.
But people around you don't have the mental capacity to be able to withstand that type of frequency and that level of understanding. Because when they don't understand it, they point fingers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier, how lonely it is.
Yeah.
Because think about it, bro. The people that raised you, the people you rock with every day, your homies, your best friends, your day ones, you would never expect that when you told them about something you wanted to do, that they would make fun of it or that they would doubt it or that they wouldn't believe in it.
Those are the biggest ones.
Those are the biggest ones. Those are the biggest ones. And that's why people say that people that have never met you are going to support you the hardest.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? People that me and you, Chris, bro, like you said, we clicked like we've been knowing each other for years.
Right. When we got on the phone, like actually when I sent you that voice note, I was like, I don't even my team didn't say, hey, reach out to this individual. I have a team for that. So I was like, I'm going to reach out to this cat because this dude is speaking my language.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear what you said. I felt what you said.
Yeah.
Because I felt what you said because I experienced that myself.
Absolutely.
And you have to protect it. You have to protect everything. Like that is so fragile. Yeah. Is whatever you want to do in life. There's even with this Winject Studio stuff, I was aligning myself to around that I thought that people can show up at a certain energy and at certain frequency. If you can't maintain that shit, don't introduce me to that person. So then I started realizing there was a lot of resistance there, and I had to re-explain things. I felt like I was in a different wavelength. So I was like, all right, man, guys, I love you, appreciate you. I'm gonna go do my thing. I'm gonna build this shit, and then you can come back.
And you're gonna love me. Then you're gonna love me.
Yeah.
You're gonna be telling all your parents.
And it's already happening. Right. And it's already happening. They were like, holy shit, this is what you're doing? I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm going to change the freaking game.
I'm trying to tell you. But see, and we talked about earlier, I might have to do some more research on this myself. But from what I have seen, though, the most successful people, bro, the truly successful ones, people don't understand is that they feel the same emotions that we all feel because we all fucking human. Right?
Yes.
They get sad. They have people around that don't believe in them. They have these certain things, but the difference is that even though they had those things, they did whatever they were trying to do anyway. They were depressed, but I kept dreaming anyway. Right?
Wow.
People didn't believe in me, but I kept fighting for it anyway. And I think until more people adopt that mindset of, I feel this way, I'm going through this emotion, that everything isn't going right, but I'm still going to wake up every morning and fight for this. You have to be almost a little fucking crazy to be
you do. No, you are. Well, actually, and I stopped saying that to people, and if I can give you any kind of advice on this.
Yeah, please.
If you almost start feeling like you're crazy, that's when you know that you're raising your vibration and you're doing the right thing. Okay? Absolutely. Because when it's crazy, the world tells people that because they can't understand it and they can't understand or articulate, or if that's feelings, they can't comprehend it. So they can't, whether it is, they can't handle that type of capacity. See, I was born with the no filter. Okay.
Me too.
And the ones that are plugged into the true source and the true essence of them as an individual, they're now, I would be an open target. Yeah. So I wasn't protecting my source, but now I've created these boundaries around that source, like a fortress that I don't allow it in. Like, so that way I'm plugged in. So it's like me being 100% dialed in. People go, how the hell are you able to operate at 100%? Because I'm plugged into my source.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give you one, okay? And just if I can give you any kind of advice,
Yeah,
you
please.
force people to call you crazy. I force them to call me crazy. I know that you think I'm crazy, and I probably am. That means it's a good reflection, it's a perfect reflection on you need to raise yourself. You need to raise your way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I say that in a nice way.
Yeah.
But people are only going to support you until you make it popular for everybody to support you.
Absolutely.
When you create that environment, it's like, listen, I don't give a shit if you like me or not, or you're going to do this. I put people in a position you can't tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me no. So I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to create it, and I'm going to create the ambassadorship and then change people's lives. People ask me that question all the time. What do you do for a living? I change lives. Simple. Next question.
Yep.
Would you like to ask me how?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
yep.
But when you get to that's when you go to all my content and all the websites, you would appreciate it because you're a writer. That it's very simple. I give people a clear outline of what this is, and it's always going to change. Like there's different phases. When I got real clear about what I wanted to do with my life.
Absolutely.
I took I used to have like this whole hallway right behind here. There's a whole hallway. And I used to have like Deion Sanders jersey signs and all these different things up, right? Yeah. I took them son of a bitches down. I took them down and got Amazon and all those whiteboards. There are whiteboards going all the way down. There's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, phase 7, phase 8, phase 9, and phase 10 of Winject Studios. By the time the industry catches on, I'm at phase 5. IPO is happening. This game that I'm playing is not the game that everyone's going to operate at.
Different.
It's just a different way of understanding life.
Yeah. When
you transfer that why me shit to try me, like I'm a try me dude, bro.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I'm not the most skilled. I'm not the most polished. No. I'm not the most, but damn sure not the most pretty, but me, I'm a sexy son of a bitch. Yeah, so absolutely. It's, you know what I mean? I'm a bad dude, bro. Myself,
you know what
right. I mean, just like Jay-Z said, you ever met an ugly billionaire? No. Right. So it is what it is, but it's not, that's the things that are going to create an environment in the visible proof for someone to see that you can do it. Well, it's not about the money for me. My value, the way the world sees my value is by my net worth. Mm-hmm. But my value is something different, the way that I take it in. So when I'm doing what I need to do, I'm going to keep asking myself difficult questions because I don't spend my first 4 hours of my day. I do not touch technology.
4 hours.
Nothing. 4 hours, bro. I went from 1 hour. I went from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours, and now I'm at 4.
So what are you doing them first 4?
Right, I print off at nighttime. I'll give you my little thing. At nighttime, what I do is I print off all my reports and all the things. It still doesn't mean that I'm not working.
Right.
I'm working. I'm one-on-one with my brain and a piece of paper and reports, not touching any technology. Because what is technology? These things are there for a distraction. I just know myself. I don't know how to operate everybody else. I just know how to operate me.
Right.
So if I go on the internet or I'm going on my phone, doesn't mean that, I won't take a phone call if I need to take an important phone call, but I want to be one-on-one with my reports and piece of paper and then mapping out, measuring, and reassess, because that's what I love about being in the UK. I'm 5 hours ahead of the world the way I know it. Mm-hmm. So I have a 5-hour head start. So I invested that time into me. And more time that I'm investing into me, I'm tapping into what I should be doing. Because I go back to my boards, go back to measure and reassess, and I'm trying to figure out the right angle. I'm now starting to, you mentioned the people that are around you, like your father, right? Well, what helped me is like I can be at peace with what happened, and I'll forgive you. I don't need to tell you I forgive you. I forgive you for me, not you. Yeah. And I forgive you for me. And then once that happens, now I know how to move that moving part and let them be who they are. If they show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them. So, I mean, that's a hell of a way of probably me kind of like long-winded putting it in, but it's like, I look forward to all of your success that you will have, because it seems like to me that you're only scratching the surface on what Z is going to bring to the table.
Man, I'm trying, brother. I'm trying.
Oh, you're trying. It's happening. I feel it. So, but like, what are some things that you're passionate about right now? What actually drives you to do what you do?
I think coming from where I'm from, small town, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Many people haven't heard of it. Some people have. Coming from where I'm from, seeing the potential.
Razorback.
Razorbacks, man. Seeing the potential of what my city could be versus what it is. I think that's a big thing that drives me. So.
Would you say that that's your talent of being able to look at your employees and look at people for who they are, you don't look at them for their current situation and what they've actually done up in that present moment. You look at them, what the potential is and what they should be if
Absolutely.
they keep putting in the work. I love that. That's a skill.
I think the best people. I think the most successful people in the world have that as well. Vision, vision of what could be. Think about it. Nothing that is what we know it. Disney World, all the great places and attractions in the world was never that at one time. They saw what it could be. You see what I'm saying? And so I think I'm the same way, bro. And so that between that and then understanding how many people are relying on me, and this is the part. People that are relying on me that I haven't even met yet. That I haven't. But if I quit, if I give up, if I bullshit, if I'm lazy, if I make excuses or whatever, then I never have the opportunity to impact those people. Whether they're working for me in my company, whether they get impacted by one of my initiatives or programs, whatever the case may be. And so I think between those two things, those are the two things that drive me the most of me trying to be one of those pioneers that makes Arkansas and Little Rock a place that people want to come. Like I want my detail shop to be one of those places that people stop and come eat, have a good time, get a car wash, get a haircut. Because like it's a one-stop shop here where we are. Like I want that to be, a real pivotal part of my community. You know what I mean?
And it is, and it's going to, and even if it's not manifest up to your standards at this point, it's going to keep pushing towards the small details. You touched on one thing, and I want to make sure that I shine a light on this.
Yeah.
I think I know why we're cut from the same cloth now. Yeah. Are you motivated by pain or pleasure?
Pain.
Yep, I know, because it's the fear of loss you mentioned.
Yeah. Pain.
That fear of loss is the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out for myself. Literally. Like I don't want to look back at that's the biggest thing. And I don't know if you've ever done something like this, but I highly suggest you to do it once COVID and all that stuff. Make sure you're vaccinated and whatever you need to do. But go and call up a retirement home.
Yeah.
Call up a retirement home and say, listen, my name is Z. I own a detailed, shop. I own this, and I'm a speaker. I'm a writer. I'm an influencer. I'm here to serve, and I want to learn more. I want you to investigate the regret. So, and go to the retirement home and say, I want to interview these individuals. They're waiting there to die. That's what some of these families do. They sit them there and they're just waiting there to die. They would love to have conversations with people like you. I went there and I started interviewing some of these folks. And I was asking some deep questions about regret. You can not just feel the pain. You can see the pain behind their eyes. But in order for me able to get that, extract that information to be able to pour back into myself, I had to create the environment for them to feel safe.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you have never done anything like that, that'll hold you accountable to force you to eat your own dog food, because you'll keep thinking back to the way that they felt when you were asking those questions about the regret. I refuse. I got to push.
I'm going to have to.
It's a beautiful feeling.
I think that's what scares me the most, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, is that your biggest fear of being able to look back and going, yeah.
I think, definitely. I think that's a lot of people's biggest fears, bro. I think that's why a lot of people fear death the way they do. Is because of the fact that when they're sitting there in that retirement home or on that nursing bed or in the hospice or wherever it is they dying, right? Wherever, or even if they just in their home alone and they're sitting there thinking about, man, I should have did this before. You know what I mean? Man, I wish I would have said this. Man, I wish I would have went here. Man, I wish I would have started that business I wanted to start. Man, I wish I would have, went after this person that I love so much. Whatever the case may be, we die. We die. And we're afraid of death because of the things that we never did, the things we never said, the places we never went, the things that we never got a chance to even, go after because of fear, because of other people's opinions, because of the distractions or whatever the case may be. And so, man, that's my biggest thing, bro, is that when I leave here, I want to leave such an impact where even when I'm gone, you still remember me.
Yeah.
You still
And
know
you
that
still got more work to do. You still got more work to do afterwards.
Exactly.
You know, this is the test. This is the test.
Exactly.
And we're gonna keep going through this test until we get to a certain, like, I guess, percentage of our optimal level. Like, I want to operate at an optimal level 100%. And if it's not if I'm not able to do it at that type of level, that means I don't do it. So that fear, for my biggest fear, is losing my mind. So me not being able to. Okay, let me put it this way. So like dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. I could, just because of my experience. Yeah, like it's that's what. Oh man, damn, I could get emotional. Like my grandmother is one of the strongest women, and she got dementia, and she got to a point in her age, and she didn't know who she was, and she would always remember me. It was weird because they met my sister, maybe because she looked like my mom, and call her that she would just forget where she was at. But you could see behind their eyes, they're still there. Like they're still there. And I just don't want to, I just, if it's something that I have to, is part of my destiny, it's part of obviously my journey, then of course that I'm going to embrace it. But I just pray that, I don't think that that's something that I want to happen to me. You know what I mean? But it's, it's part of life and it's whatever, but then that also motivates me to create lifelong relationship and meaningful relationships in my life where they're not just going to put me in a home.
Absolutely.
They got people around me to love me, and to protect me.
Absolutely.
And that's a reflection. Like I used to view success as money and cars and watches and houses and shit. I view a complete successful life as being just at peace on what you've actually done in your life.
Absolutely. I think the most powerful definition I ever heard of what success is that comparing not what you've done compared to what other people have done, but what you were put on this earth to do.
Yes.
And how close you got to that. That is how you measure success. And when I heard it put like that, man, I don't look at it any other way now. You know what I mean? And so my biggest goal is that I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing or what I'm destined to do. I have a feeling I'm on the right path.
No, you are. Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to do, bro. Is just be better than I was the day before and get that much closer to inspiring as many people as I can, helping as many people as I can. Because then I think we can die happy, bro. I think we can leave this earth, at peace. You know what I mean? The people that truly leave here at peace know that I've done what I was supposed to do. I gave it everything I had. You know what I mean? We die empty, and I want to be one of those people, man.
I don't know if you heard that. Well, I was like, I'm gonna die on E, bro. Like I'm gonna push until I have nothing left to give.
Absolutely,
and nothing left to give. And I appreciate you coming on. And I can keep going in this conversation with you. But just like myself and you, we got all things to do. But I appreciate the time that we're able to hold this space and share.
Absolutely.
Some of the things that you did about your life and all the things you're going to. And it's so funny is that when I have the most impactful conversations, most people come on the show, they go, I didn't even talk about my business. And that's not why I had you on. Like, that's for show notes. Like, we're not here to talk about that. We're here what I'm looking for is I'm looking for those moments in life to extract that out and pull it out of you for the listeners to go, oh, it's like I'm putting them in a situation. I'm giving them a front row seat to success. And they have no choice.
Yeah. It's almost like you're literally pulling out those points that have molded us into who we are and who we're going to be. Absolutely. And, you even made me think about some things as to that question you asked, that was a tough ass question, man. So I mean, like I said, I love adding value to people, but I think today we added value to people in another whole different spectrum. You know what I mean? From a personal development, a growth standpoint. If people don't get value from what we talked about today, bro, then it went way over their head. Yeah, check absolutely. Their vibrations are high. I know, brother.
Right. I was actually talking about this. It's like you just got to be conscious of who is actually around you. And that uncommon, thinkers or to make uncommon plans and uncommon partners in life. Some people are just attached to certain versions of who they thought they fell in love with. And you don't understand what the definition of love is. The definition of love is walking past the most beautiful flower and not pick it. And that's how and I'm telling you, man, I hold space with individuals, and the person that I'm, destined to, I guess, spend my life with, I guess, if that ever is going to happen. But I'm cool with whatever. I'm just here to be the best that I can be for the people around me. So I hold myself accountable to that, but it's all about you understanding how much you love yourself. I gave myself permission to love myself unconditionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And not really giving a shit what people thought about it. Like I'm just here to be able to do what I need to do. I was like, if you're not about that life, then you're not in my life. And there's a good reason why that you're not in it. I sense in some type of form or fashion that you're not about that life. So I didn't cut you out of my life. You cut yourself out.
Absolutely. You just showed me who you were.
Right, exactly. And I'll pay attention to it, man. But I appreciate you. I guess the thing the kids say or people say towards the end of this, obviously I've been scrolling some things at the bottom of this. You don't really need to say like where to find you. We're going to drive the hell out of them to you. But I'm going to leave you with this question and we'll wrap up just for the listeners and we can continue our conversations and to do great things. I look at every guest that I bring on as a lifelong friend, not a lifelong connection. And, that's the things that we're going to obviously create. So and I'm going to leave you with this. If there's something in life that you're trying to accomplish and there's certain things that everyone knows what they're trying to really go after, like what are you going after right now in this current place?
True change, man. True change. A lot of people say this cute quote of, teach a man instead of giving a man a fish, teach him how to fish. I'm truly trying to show that. So instead of me being one of those guys that goes out here and gives out a meal, I want to teach you how to go and buy your own meal. Instead of me giving you clothes, I want to provide you the resources that you need to be able to buy your own clothes. And I think that's truly how we bring about that change. Because if you think about it, for me, I think about how fucked up our systems are in this world and in this country, right? It's so strategic that a lot of people just don't even understand it. This person is homeless because of this situation, and because they're in this situation, this is why they do these crimes, and this is why they do these drugs, and that's why
you're put in a situation. Oh my God, you're speaking freaking. They're put in a situation. They're in survival. Goes all the way back to what you were saying. They're in survival.
They're just trying to survive, bro. They're just trying to make it out of there. And so for me, man, I just want to provide a platform and provide a safe space for people where they can come, be themselves. They can come, they can be transparent, and they can know that they can come to me and my company and my people and know that we're gonna do everything we can to give them that they need to be successful, bro. I mean, that's literally what we stand by. That's our mission, man. It's just to give people the resources in our range, not spoon feeding people, not giving handouts, but letting them earn it and let them feel like they earned it for themselves. And know I can go home at night knowing that I helped that many more people, get out of this strategic game that they're playing with our people. So that's my only goal, man. That's my goal with everything I build. It's all about my community at the end of the day. It seems, and if you don't understand that or see that, then you haven't had a chance to truly be a part of our process or get to know me even. Because if you do know me, that's my only goal.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it shows, and like it oozes out of you. And that's what I think is what brought us to each other. And I look forward to, continuing to keep, being at service for you, man, and figuring any kind of opportunities, or that's when you really truly understand the understanding of an individual. Is it could be a room full of opportunities. If you bring that person's name up when you didn't have to, that shows
that's everything. Love. That's a different type of love, bro.
Right. Yeah. Because that's a shift that most people don't ever have an opportunity to experience.
Absolutely.
And that's where that's when all the challenges in the universe is going to push right in front of you to make sure you're ready for that next level.
Absolutely.
I feel like I felt like I broke through a sound barrier, man. And there's nothing now that's going to ever stop me unless me. So, but I love you, man. I appreciate you. And I say that, and I don't throw those words around lightly. I say that because I love unconditionally and in loving the spirit. And I love the energy of you. Yeah. And there's anything I can do in the future to make it easier and provide some type of way of opening a door for you, because that's what I'm all about, man. But anything else you want to add?
Man, nothing, man. Chris, bro, like I said, it's nothing but love from here, bro. And I don't throw those words around, lightly either, man. I don't know. I feel like I gained a brother, man, all the way from Arkansas to
Me
the
too.
UK, man. So
That's right.
Thanks for having me, man. And I really hope the people enjoy this episode. And this won't be the last time y'all hear from Will Tidwell. I'll tell y'all that.
Especially if I'm around. You know what I mean? So that's just going to happen. So guys, be well, be you, be great. Like, take some time today to figure out, how to shed these layers to get the true essence of who you are as an individual. And if there's any day that ends in Y, and if it ends in Y, you better be going after it because it's not going to be coming to you. Be well, be great. Peace.